The Corpus Christi Octave, Day 3, the Eucharist, Substantial Presence of Christ. Trust and respect for Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. Sight, touch, and taste in thee are each deceived. It is true that in the Blessed Eucharist, the senses are unable to perceive the most real presence that exists anywhere. This is because it is a question of the presence of a body which is both glorified and divine. Therefore, it is a divine presence, a divine mode of existence, which differs essentially from the modes of being and existing of bodies which are subject to space and time. The Eucharist never exhausts the ways in which Jesus can be present among us. He announced to us, "Lo, I am with you always until the close of the age." He is with us in many ways. The Church reminds us that Christ is present in the needy, whether they belong to our family or whether they are strangers to us. He is present whenever we gather together in His name. In a special way, He is present in the divine Word. All these are real ways of being present among us, but in the Holy Eucharist, God is present among us in a way par excellence, given that in this sacrament, Christ is there in His very person, in a true, real, and substantial way. This presence, St. Paul VI teaches, is called real, not in an exclusive sense, as though the other forms of presence were not real, but by reason of its excellence. It is the substantial presence by which Christ is made present here among us, whole and entire, without doubt, both God and man. Let us consider today how we should behave in His presence and what kind of trust and respect we should have for Him. Let us ask ourselves whether our faith becomes deeper and more penetrating when we are before the tabernacle, or whether the darkness of the senses prevails, and they remain as though blind in the presence of this divine reality. How often have we said to Jesus, "I firmly believe, Lord, that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence." The miracles of the wedding feast at Cana and the multiplication of the loaves and fishes that we considered earlier can help us try to understand better this wonder of divine love. In both these miracles, Jesus asks others for their collaboration. The disciples distributed the food to the crowds, and everyone was satisfied. In Cana, He said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water," and they filled them to the brim until they could hold no more. If they had been careless and had put in less water, the amount of wine would have been smaller. Something similar happens in the Holy Communion. Even though grace is always without limit, and we have not merited the honor we receive, Jesus asks us too for our collaboration. He invites us to correspond with our own devotion to the grace we receive. He rewards us in proportion as He finds our hearts that good disposition. He asks for us the constantly greater desire, the purity of our hearts, the spiritual communion, our sense of the presence of God throughout the day, and particularly when we pass close to a tabernacle, will enable us to receive more and more grace and love whenever Jesus comes into our hearts.